Hi, guys. So, welcome back to our 365 days Canva Design Challenge, and today is our day number 10. So, can you imagine we already have 10 tutorial videos on our page. So, today is another exciting day because I'm going to share with you one of the wonderful discovering when I was in the freelancing or home base space because I met the idea of podcast. And if you all are already in this industry of podcasting and this is your niche, this tutorial will be for you because today we're gonna learn how to create a podcast cover using Canva. So let's hop onto my screen and let's start the tutorial. So yeah, there you go. So this is our day 10, how to create your podcast cover. So I'm just gonna discuss here the breakdown of a podcast cover so that you understand what are the parts or the details that needs to be in a podcast cover. So that would be one is the podcast logo because podcast is like a series of episodes, you know. So if you're gonna have a podcast, it has to have like a podcast title. Like for example, this one, The Women Business Hustle. Let's say for example, that's the title of the podcast. So I just created a very simple podcast logo here. And next would be the episode title. So every episode there is an interesting topic that one, two, or more people will discuss in a certain episode. So for example here, how to grow an empire from nothing. So that's an example of an episode title. So next is the episode number. So as I told you earlier, it's a series of a show. It's like a show that it can be in a form of audio and in a form of video. So yeah, just like we're watching interviews. So next is the guest picture here. It also had the name of the guest, the host, and the picture of the host. Their names should be here, and also um, if you're following your client's brand, you can also include that in the concept of creating your podcast cover. So there are a lot of types of podcasts, and some people even have they are just one man podcast. They're just the one talking. But most of the podcasts they invite guests so that they can exchange ideas or exchange or have a conversation about a certain topic. So yeah, that's why I added here a guest picture. So let me hop into my sample here. So just like what we're doing from the previous tutorial, today I'm gonna teach you on how to do it in a live editing phase. So let's add a new page here and let's start. So mhm. So what I'm gonna do is add texture. You know, you know me, guys. I love texture. So let's say buildings. So I don't know why, but maybe it's part of me in the modern side of design, wherein I love putting textures in my design. Because sometimes a lot of people love the minimalist. look. And I love that too, but I'm more of like the modern design. Um, so I love overlays. I love the roughness, the sharpness of design. So I'm that kind of designer, but also minimalist in a way that I let my design breathe. So and what I mean by that is I also make sure that um, even if I'm in the modern side of design, I still make you comfortable looking at my design, if that makes sense. Okay, so here I'm gonna add, for example, here the picture of your host. Okay, that's your host. And then what you're gonna add is, mm, what if we make this a lot lighter for this version? Okay, let's say that's your sign, okay? And we're gonna add element here. So I always do this sign because this type of technique somehow adds this illusion that the element is wrapped around the person's body. So what I'm gonna do is add this square here and then add another one here. So yeah, so it creates that illusion that um, this element is like wrapped around our subject's body. So there you go, and I'm gonna add the title of the title of the episode. So I don't really have a lot of ideas here, but I just added earlier how to build an empire at age 30. So next thing you're gonna add here is your logo, for example. So there are a lot of ways to balance or like put your logo on the design. It could be on this side. It could be here. So but for this design, we're gonna put it on the left side, just because here is where we position our subject. So we will have this balance that all the texts are here and all your pictures are on the half of the design. So I hope I'm making sense. Okay. So let's say Business Women Today is the title of the series. So yeah, you can actually like create, or you have a client and they don't have any podcast yet and they don't have logos yet on their podcast, you can create options for them to look at, and then yeah, you can also create that in Canva, because I believe on day 5 we've discussed um how to create logos. So if you would like to go back to that, you may check that out. So here is, you're gonna add the episode of the design, and next is the guest. So don't worry, this is just a circle frame. Okay, if you're gonna we're gonna repeat that from the beginning, add a picture and then put that there. So the next thing that I would do is add the name of the guest somewhere near here. So let's say, let's copy okay. So sometimes it's a challenge for you to make sure that all the texts are readable. So here's what I'm gonna do, because as you can see, the name is not readable. I'm gonna say add this block here, and then let's say um okay, and then let's change the color. That's one. Okay, there you go. And then I'm gonna add another squares another square shape here. And then I'm gonna change this color and position that back. So there you go. And in this space is where I'm gonna add the word yes. So let's write the word guest and change the color to white. Okay, there you go. So now you have this shape um, created into a like label form in order for your um, in order for the name or the fonts to be more visible in the design, because our background is white. So that's one principle that I wanted to for my every design, is to make sure that all the texts are readable. So let's say I want to add more of my branding. So my favorite fade effect. So I'm just gonna add some shadow effect here. Let's say pink one. I mean, it's radical red. And position that to the back. I'm gonna add another one, and another one, and another one, until I achieve the right amount of shadow I wanted. And also we can add here on this part um, this color. So even if they're not on the main design, you can see that my colors are still present on this design, because here on the dark version it's pretty obvious because it's like contrasting to the background, so you can still see the pinks and the radical red, I mean, and the teal colors. But here it's hard to add your brand colors just because your background is white. So there you go. Mhm. As long as you know the parts of the podcast cover, you can play with it. And another thing is that I believe we have a lot of new templates here for podcasts. Yeah. There you go. There's a lot of templates that you can use here. Okay. This one is an example with a guest here, the host's names. And sometimes it's just like what I told you, podcasts have like three people in one podcast. Mm, yeah, so like there's a lot in here, but just like what I practice on my own in order for me to like uh to really be good in designing, I still practice this starting from scratch. Okay. Yes, we can rely on templates, but the best practice is that to really start from scratch because that's the way for you to really customize your design. And as a freelancer, that's my commitment to my to my clients, that the designs are original, and that I am the one who laid it out and I'm not using any templates for them. For myself, so that for my personal brand, I can use templates because yeah, it's just me who's gonna use it. But for my clients, I make sure that that the design is original, that I was the one to conceptualize their design. So that's just an additional information from me. Yeah, make it a commitment that you produce and you really work hard for your design, because one day, um, even you don't know, your client will appreciate that you make things original for them. You know, it's the thought that counts sometimes, that I'm not gonna use templates for you, I'm gonna customize the design for you because that's what I wanted to help your business with, creating original graphics. So I have talked a lot and we've got gone far from the podcast cover, but that's just it for today. And I hope you learned something from me. And tomorrow is our day 11. Please do come back because we'll keep going until we finish the challenge of 365 days. So see you tomorrow for day 11.